Baba turns on the television only to watch Ma serve questions of privilege, politics, and pandemics on the dinner table, which smells of silence that remains unanswered. So I gulp guilt with the dessert only to forget the taste of bitterness. So let's talk about it, should we? 1500 BC. They're a freak, they're distorted, they're alive, more like a living dead, trying to accept no acceptance, to an outcast like them, no longer avoiding avoidance. This is a vagrant story. The one who suffers from leprosy, on them there's no mercy. Excommunicated or forced into exile, left away in the wilderness to live a living death. 1894, Foucault creates diagrams of disease and tells us all about social organization that requires intervention only to create a societal division. Oh, by the way, remember the folklore of the Pied Piper in the town of Hamelin? Into the streets the piper stepped, dancing behind him the rats swept. Again, why did we recall this? Because it's all about plague ships. It's taking lives and driving tension. The way out is all about creating a system of registration, reporting transmission, and forcing centralization. Enough of this political theological response. If leprosy is to exclude and divide, then with plague it has to be include and organize. Enough of the diagrammatic echo of expulsion. What we really need is sanitation with spatial and temporal organization. 1901. Welcome to Bombay the Beautiful. We have landed on the discovery of bubonic. I may warn you that this disease is contagious. But you don't have to worry if you're an elite because this resides in the overcrowded, ill ventilated dwellings with large collection of filth. Localists said it's the disease of the poor. They had to be blamed, no signs in elites, they assured. We must now form a policy or this might disrupt the locality. Cleaning, disinfecting, checking did not have any impact throughout the day. Unhindered attack on the insanitary localites is now the only effective way. Cut the water supply, burn these houses, take the infected ones, put them in boxes. The Bombay Gazette called out for the urban reconstruction. The slums now will undergo demolition and destruction. Disease is just an excuse for us to be sure that we uplift the respectable class and target the urban poor. 1991, Foucault made a comeback with biopolitical set of operations. Now we can focus on intervention and calculation. If excluding lepers involved a sovereign right to disqualify life and plague called for surveillance and ordering, you must be very happy to hear that treatment of smallpox now has its first vaccine. We have come a long way from dependent on exclusion to normalization and inclusion. 2020, our generation is a revolution. We take pandemics as a reason to exploit. We are stuck in the time of COVID-19 riot. While it is manifesting all over the world, its situation in India is surely twirled. Populist leaders have an agenda to promote, rise of an ideology and others demote, foreground social conditions to advance their political end. Well, in that case, why not use COVID-19 as it's already in trend? So the parliament passed the cab and every outsider was constantly on tab. Just when WHO stepped in to announce a global pandemic, came the day of 25th March when the whole country felt a panic. Well, we've got to blame someone for the spread of the disease. It were Muslims this time who were trapped in a political bid. Delhi's dark underbelly is exploding. first in the name of anti CAA and now illegal gathering. Existential threats and human bombs, they name them. This country surely needs a fix. Dilshad Muhammad, a minor Muslim, was beat to death in his house because the neighbors said they've spread the disease, him and his spouse. This is the politically neutral reality of COVID 19. True, false, real, imagined, fact, fiction, all trapped behind the virtual screen. What now? Are we in the new year yet? Even if we are, what is going to change? They say how people talk can shape the way they think. You appreciate the socially controlled environment and name it as a community where they promise you for security, nice neighbors, and good position in the society. You let them create hierarchies and construct cartographies. And just when they call out for urban reconstruction, you let them manipulate and change the spatial representation. They'll make a riverfront and call it urban sustainability and trick you by saying we're already involving the community. Here, let me tell you something. Subtle discursive strategies produce very different kinds of space and place. It is made for people of all communities, caste, religion, class, and race. The greatest impact of social relations was the structure of private governance. Wanting to live with people like us mentality, little do we know, it only reinforces increase in partial governmentality. In what they call the times of political turmoil, we become the religion. We change forms, and those of us who can, we laugh. We laugh at our audacity to believe, to write, and live. We name the places on the segregation of who lives, and with the names and places, we make communities. Unknown structure known as HOMES, homes. Homes of the men accepting the punishment for the crime they did not commit. Whereas all the riches will take a breath of sigh and play the tunes in the name of rainy evenings. And this is where we learn the difference between majority and minority, own self and community, temporary and sustainability, exclusivity and inclusivity, equality and equity, poetry and poverty.